All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live and here to discuss the finale, the conclusion to the Halloween story that, began in 1978. It's had a bunch of different timelines branch off from it since then. And now we have this new timeline directed by David Gordon Green. And it began in 2018 with Halloween 2018, of course. And now it's finally reached its conclusion. It's reached its finale. It's reached its ending with Halloween Ends. And this has been quite a ride, starting in 2018, seeing this new branch off timeline of the original 1978 film, seeing what Blumhouse Studios and David Gordon Green could do with this, seeing the finale to the Laurie Strode and Michael Myers story. And here we are. This is the finale. And did it hit? Did it kill it? Was it good? Was this the finale I was hoping it would be? To give a little bit of context before I actually give my opinion on that, and I will keep the first 5 minutes or so of this stream spoiler free so that people that come back and check out the stream later on, they can actually look at this and they can decide, if they don't want to get into the spoiler section, they don't have to. I'll probably break it up later on. But to give a little bit of context, a little bit of history as far as my experience with the Halloween franchise goes, this is my favorite horror franchise. This is my favorite slasher franchise. Freddy is cool, Jason is cool, but Michael Myers has always been my favorite. Michael Myers has always been the one that scares me the most because of just how, subtle the evil is. He is the boogeyman. He's, well, in some versions of the story, he's actually, completely supernatural. But, he is that evil always lurking in the shadows. That's who Michael Myers is set up to be. And, that's different from the more supernatural, straight up supernatural take, on Freddy and on Jason. So Michael Myers is my favorite of the big slashers. And the Halloween franchise, even, for all of its ups and downs and everything, and some of the bad films that have come out, the Halloween franchise is still my favorite horror franchise, period. This is what I grew up with. My first Halloween was Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. It's still one of my favorites. Absolutely, definitely in the top 5 of my favorite Halloween films. That's the one I grew up with. And then, of course, later on, I went back and watched the original. I watched the one that came before that, which was the second one, Halloween 2, 1981. And, I have my favorites. I have ones that I don't like so much. I think some are better than others. And, I've just always really loved this franchise. And I really have loved the Michael Myers character and the Laurie Strode character. And as far as like this new trilogy of films, this new trilogy of sequels, starting with Halloween 2018 and going through to this one, when it comes to the first two, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, I like them. I like Halloween 2018 way more than Halloween Kills. I think with Halloween Kills, they tried to do a little bit too much. I think they tried to include a little bit too much. I think they went a little bit too far. There was too many characters. They were trying to do too much all in one film. And I thought overall the film was kind of messy. I don't think it's a bad film. I don't think Kills is a bad film. But I don't think it was quite as good as Halloween 2018. Halloween 2018, I really enjoyed when I first saw it. And honestly, as I've gone back to rewatch it, I enjoy it more and more and more. And I would definitely put 2018 in my top 5. So yeah, the question is, coming off of Halloween Kills, which I thought again was an okay movie, but was not as good as 2018, and kind of left me a little bit like, I don't know about this. Now we're going into Halloween Ends, coming off of Halloween Kills, and I wouldn't say disappointment, but my mixed feelings on it. I was worried about Halloween Ends. I was worried, are they going to be able to nail the landing? Is this going to take more after Halloween 2018, or is it going to be more like Halloween Kills? So now that I've seen the movie, just got out of the theater maybe an hour and 20 minutes ago. Now that I've seen the movie, what do I think of it? Is it more like Halloween 2018 than it is Halloween Kills? Is it better than Halloween Kills? And I'm here to tell you that, in my own personal opinion, yes, I think that Halloween Ends is a better movie than Halloween Kills. I think that Halloween Ends is more on par with Halloween 2018. Definitely Halloween Kills is the weak link of the David Gordon Green sequel trilogy of sequels. That's definitely the weak link here in this trilogy. Halloween Ends is a very much an improvement over Halloween Kills. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's very comparable to Halloween 2018. So if you liked Halloween 2018 and the tone of that film, I think you're going to like Halloween Ends. Halloween Kills, again, I thought had way too much going on. I thought it was not balancing that stuff very well. That you had the whole mob thing, you had that was going on at the hospital. You had all these different legacy characters coming back, and we really didn't get enough time to spend with them. There was a lot of issues when it came to actually managing all the parts of that film. But I have to say, when it comes to Halloween Ends, it's a much more contained story. I think Halloween Kills went way too far and was too big for what it was trying to do. But Halloween Ends is a much more contained story, very similar to Halloween 2018, and it feels smoother. It feels better for it. Things seem to flow better. It doesn't seem like it's, jumping around all this much. It really does focus on Laurie and Allison, and it focuses on a core group of characters, and it really doesn't try and bounce around to all these different parts. There's not a lot of moving parts here. It's really more streamlined. And I think the film definitely benefits from that. They really did kind of pull it back from the grandiose of Halloween Kills, and I think the film is all the more stronger because of that. So again, I'm trying not to get into spoilers until I kind of get my general thoughts on the movie. So I was very happy about that. In terms of the style, in terms of the lighting, in terms of the art direction and stuff like that, I thought it was very good. In fact, I'll be completely honest with you here. I think this has the best look out of all three of the David Gordon Green Halloween films. I really like the look of Halloween 2018. It has that very orangish fall look to it. I think that's pretty cool. Halloween Kills, I think, was going for more of a red type of tone to it, color direction to it. And I don't think it worked out as well. This one, though, however, goes back to the blue color tone, which was present in the original 1978 film, because there was a lot of blue lighting, a lot of blue, atmosphere to the original 1978 film. And that is definitely present here. This, in terms of look, in terms of art direction, this film feels closest to the original 1978 film out of all the David Gordon Green Halloween movies. And I think it's much stronger because of that. I like the look of this film. I like the style of this film. It's really, really good. The way Haddonfield looks in this film, it's good. I mean, it's really, really good. Is it without its flaws? No, it does have some flaws here or there, but nothing major that takes away from the overall film, from the end product. Like when the credits started rolling, was I satisfied with this movie? Absolutely. Yeah, I was very satisfied with this movie. As far as like a conclusion to this trilogy of sequels, this was satisfying. As far as a conclusion to the Michael Myers and Laurie Strode conflict, in order, to their own story, again, very, very satisfying. I came out of this movie and I was like, I'm very happy with this. And I was worried coming off of Halloween Kills, because I thought, Halloween Kills, it's okay, but it could have been a lot better. I hope this is not a sign of where they're going with Halloween Ends. And there was definitely some things I heard about Halloween Ends as far as the rumor mill goes that really got me concerned. There was some theories about the radio tower. There was some talk that they was going to include stuff about the pandemic that was going on and everything. And thankfully, none of the cringy stuff like that is in here at all. Of course, you have Jamie Lee Curtis, putting in her commentary on trauma and healing and things like that because she's really big on those subjects. But it didn't come off as overly preachy. It was there. Of course, it was there. She's a really big influencer on these particular set of films. So it was there, but it wasn't really, it didn't come off as preachy or anything like that. There wasn't anything cringy or, let me put it to you like this. The concerns I had about this film going into this movie, this film alleviated, like as I was watching the movie, each one of those fears was being alleviated very, very quickly. And I found myself really getting in and enjoying this movie and not worrying so much about how it's going to turn out. So overall, is it a satisfying conclusion to the Michael Myers and Laurie Strode story? Yes. Is it a satisfying conclusion to this particular set of films? Yes. And is it a satisfying conclusion of the story that was started in the original 1978 movie? Yes, 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 yes. Is it a perfect film? No. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of surprised. I did not look at any spoiler reviews going into this, but I did read some non-spoiler reviews for the movie. And I looked at a couple of headlines. Again, I did not look at anything that was spoilerish, but I found very mixed feelings on this movie. And coming out of this movie, I was surprised. I don't know why people would be overly disappointed with this. I do have to question what people were looking for in this because I was looking for a specific set of things and I got them for the most part. Again, no movie is perfect, but I think it was really, really good. And I think it's a satisfying conclusion. But yeah, I heard some people say, things like it's very messy. It's got a lot going on. There's too much here. It tries to do too much. And I didn't feel that way at all. I thought Halloween Kills tried to do too much, but I came out of this movie and I was surprised about how self-contained, no, not self-contained, that's the wrong phrase to use because obviously it's connected to the previous films. I was surprised at how focused and how narrow the direction was. It really did focus on Laurie, on Allison, on Michael, on a core group of characters, and it stuck with them for the most part. And it was really their story. It was really this group of characters' story, and that I really, really liked. That I was very happy about. And I think the film was I think the film was stronger for it. And I just do not get the criticisms that this film had too much going on. It really didn't. It really didn't. It was a nice, focused narrative. And I liked that. I really enjoyed that. So I don't know where the criticisms of this movie being messy or overly grandiose or overly complicated come from. I don't know where the hell those criticisms came from because I felt the opposite coming out of this. I thought this movie was right where it should be. This is what I wanted. I wanted something that was more focused, that was more really about this final battle between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. And that's what I got. And I was very, very happy about it. That's what we got in the end. And I was very, very happy about it. So I don't know where the criticisms come from. I really don't. Like, I need to actually read these reviews, read some spoiler reviews and try and understand where the criticism comes from. Because I just don't feel that way. I really, really like this movie. In fact, I would even go so far as to say this might be in my top 5 Halloween films. I like it that much. Of course, number 1 and number 2, Halloween 1978 and Halloween 2 1981. I think most people would, definitely say that those are the 2 best films in the franchise. I would probably put Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, as my number 3. Halloween 2018 is definitely in the top 5. I don't know if it's better than this one or if this one's better than Halloween 2018, but I would put Halloween in 2018. Halloween Ends and Halloween 2018 would probably both be in my top 5. Like, that's how good this movie is, in my opinion, and how satisfying it was. And I will say this, I think this movie has the most satisfying ending to any continuity in the Halloween franchise overall. So, of course, you have the Thorn trilogy, you have the H2O timeline, and then you have this timeline. And I think this has the best conclusion to any of the timelines. I really do. So I like this movie. I enjoyed it. Um, I know, again, it seems to be somewhat divisive. I don't see why. I think this movie is a fantastic send off to this storyline of the battle between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. So that being said, that's going to wrap up the non-spoiler section of the review, the spoiler-free section. So from here on out, we're talking spoilers, baby. From here on out, we are talking spoilers. So let's just go ahead and dive right into it. Again, if you don't want to be spoiled for the movie, you need to leave at this point. But if you're wanting to know, is this a good movie? Is it worth your money? At the end of the day, you're going to have to find out for yourself. Do you like it? Again, I can't tell you what to like and what not to like. I really enjoyed this movie, and I thought it was $30 well spent. Okay. So I really did enjoy this movie. And again, it just depends. I would recommend this movie. I think that, especially if you like Halloween 2018, I think you'll like this movie. I really do think you'll like this movie. And I think it's got a lot there for people that like the 1978 film as well. So again, I would highly recommend this movie. I thought it was freaking fantastic. But you have to go see it for yourself to find out if you like it for sure or not. So that being said, we are moving into the spoiler section of the review, ladies and gentlemen. So if you don't want to be spoiled, this is your time to get out of the live stream and come back later and check this part out after you've seen the movie for yourself. Okay, so spoiler section. So Halloween Ends takes place 4 years after Halloween Kills. Michael has gone into hiding. He's not been seen in that time period, but people know that he's still out there. People in Haddonfield know that, he's still on the loose. He's not been captured. He's not been arrested. He's still out there. And so everybody's looking around every corner for the boogeyman, and we see, as time has passed, we see every Halloween since the events of Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, whenever there's something bad that happens on Halloween night, people are wondering, is it him? Is it Michael? Has he come back? Has he finally come back? They even show like this couple that was shot and, they ask like, is it him? And they're like, no, Michael doesn't use guns. There is the movie actually starts out on Halloween night 2019. And we're following this character by the name of Corey. Now, Corey is seemingly a random character dropped into the Halloween franchise. But what they do with Corey in this movie, I think is actually pretty damn creative and ingenious as for what he is meant to be in this plot and for how he serves the finale of the story. Because, when this character was first revealed during the promotional stuff, I was honest to God kind of worried because I was like, man, I don't really want a new character at this point. I just want to focus on Laurie and Michael. We're dropping in this new character, Corey. Like, he could really take away from this finale. He could really take away from what's supposed to be a Laurie and Michael story. I was very concerned about that. But I have to say, I actually was really impressed with what they did with the Corey character and what his purpose was. So, Corey, it's Halloween night 2019. It's 1 year after the events of Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. Corey is babysitting this rich couple's kid, and this kid is kind of a little snot. He's playing this prank on Corey, making him think that Michael Myers is in the house. Corey ends up locked inside of the attic, which is at the top of this really large staircase. And, the kid's playing a prank at him and Corey's, freaking out and stuff. And the kid's in front of the door. Corey's kicking down the door, trying to get out. He kicks up in the door. The kid is hit by the door, and the kid falls over the staircase onto the ground below. It's actually pretty damn brutal. The kid is on the floor, dead, bleeding. Parents come home from their Halloween party. They look up, they see Corey at the top of the staircase, and they're like, "What have you done? Like, what's going on here? Like, what have you done to our child?" And of course, it's an accident. Corey didn't mean to kill the kid, but from that point forward, people in Haddonfield treat Corey as the child killer. They at one point you even see like Corey's mother talking to Laurie, and she's like, after Michael Myers disappeared in 2018, your boogeyman disappeared, and the town needed a new boogeyman to hate, a new boogeyman to fear, a new boogeyman to put all the blame on. And so Corey became that new boogeyman. And, you really feel bad for this kid. Like, he's really getting the short end of the stick. And the town just treats him like garbage. Not everybody. And I think that's important, because a lot of times, you see like a lot of characters in some movies, like they'll be too mean. They'll be unrealistically mean. So there's some people, that really look down at Corey for, what happened with this kid. They think that he did it on purpose. You got this group of high school kids, and they're these assholes that really bully Corey and everything. But then you also have characters that are really looking out for Corey, and they realize he's not a bad guy. This was an accident. He didn't mean for this to happen. It's like you have Laurie looking out for him. There's oh shoot, what's the cop's name? Let me pull up his name real quick. Halloween. Let's see. Hawkins, that's it. Officer Hawkins. Hawkins is looking out for this kid. And Allison actually starts dating Corey. So, there's people out there that do understand him. And I think that was really important, because I've seen movies where characters are just unrealistically nasty and just terrible. And we don't get that here. Yeah, you have characters like that, but it's not the whole freaking town. Like, that would have been absolutely ridiculous. But some people, they understand that this wasn't really Corey's fault and that he's not a monster. That doesn't mean he doesn't become a monster. So Corey, he starts this relationship with Allison. They have their highs and their lows. It's kind of a rocky relationship, but you actually really start to root for them to get together, because Allison's kind of viewed as an outcast because of the whole thing that goes on with Michael, and her connection to that. Corey's also viewed as an outcast because he accidentally killed a kid. And so they do kind of bond over that. There's a relationship there, and you're kind of rooting for these two to get together. Things go south pretty quick, because of course they do. It's a Halloween film. So Corey, he's continually bullied by this one group of 4 kids. And eventually, like, it gets so bad that they actually toss Corey off a bridge, and Corey's like laying under this bridge, still alive. But he's alive, but he's knocked unconscious. There's like this old homeless dude there, and then we see someone crawling out of a sewer, and this person grabs Corey and pulls him into the sewer, and we find out that this is actually where Michael's been hiding the whole time. And the thing is that Michael has actually gotten weaker. Michael, he's an old dude. He's an old man at this point. He's gotten weaker. He's not as healthy. He's breathing heavy all the time. And I don't mean like what we've seen from previous Halloween films where Michael's like, like, I mean, it's more like he's out of breath constantly. So you can tell like age is finally catching up with Michael. And that actually plays a pretty big factor in Michael's fate at the end of the movie. So, Corey ends up meeting Michael. It looks like Michael's actually about to kill him. And then they almost imply there's some kind of supernatural something or another going on here with Michael, because he grabs Corey. He's like choking him and stuff. And Michael looks into Corey's eyes, and it's almost like he can see Corey's memories. and he sees the night that Corey killed this kid, and he lets Corey go. He lets Corey go, and there's like it's almost implied like there's a psychic connection between the two. So there is somewhat of a supernatural element they seem to play here, but it's very subtle. It's very vague. And you also have to question, is there something supernatural going on here? Because they never outright confirm it. And I always think that's the best way to go with Michael. You can have characters theorize about why Michael does what he does. You can have, speculation between the characters of why Michael does what he does. Hell, Loomis did that in the original film. He was speculating left and right about Michael. You can have people coming up with theories. I thought a good example of this was actually back in the 2018 film with Dr. Sartain. He theorized that the reason Michael did all this was something to do with Judith, because he thought that, Allison, when she was trapped in that car with Sartain, she made up this story, that, oh, Michael said something to her. And Sartain was like, what did he tell you? What did he say? Did he say Judith's name? Was it Judith? So he kind of thought maybe it had something to do with Judith. He also thought that, the whole thing about Michael and Laurie is that Michael was hunting Laurie, that Laurie was the prey that got away. She survived that night 40 years ago. And, Michael is coming to finish the job. He's wanting to get his prey. Of course, they dispel all of that and Halloween Kills by saying that it was never about Laurie. Like, Laurie has just crossed Michael, like his path, like that's what it is. It's not about Laurie. So again, they do kind of imply somewhat of a supernatural connection between Michael and Corey is established here, but it's never really confirmed. And you could look at it and say it may not be supernatural. It may just be a coincidence. But there is some kind of bond here, if I can call it that, between Michael and Corey, because Michael doesn't kill Corey, and Corey actually comes across Michael a number of times. In fact, Corey's going out and he actually, he starts the way they describe it, it's like he's being infected by Michael, like the evil inside of Michael is infecting Corey. That's how they make it seem to begin with. And you can see Corey's mentality, his mental stability really start to shatter as the film progresses. So much, oh my God, wow. So much so that Corey actually does start killing. And at first, he doesn't intend to kill. Like when Michael lets him go and he crawls out of the sewer, he comes across the homeless guy that's hanging out under the bridge. And the homeless guy is actually about to stab Corey, and Corey ends up stabbing him. So that's another accidental death. He's not wanting to kill the guy. It's an accidental death. But after that, he eventually kills there's this one police officer that's hitting on Allison, and the dude seemed like he was way too old to be dating Allison. I'm not sure how old he was supposed to be, but he came off as a creep. And Corey and him get into an altercation over Allison, and he ends up leading the police officer to where Michael is hiding. And, at first, it seems like Corey's going to kill him, and then like Michael gets involved in it. So there's actually times where Michael and Corey are killing together. And as Michael kills, the more he kills, he actually seems to get stronger. His health seems to improve. Now you can still tell he's getting old. He's still unhealthy, but it's almost like the bloodlust is driving him at this point. Like the more he kills, the stronger he becomes throughout this movie. And it's like it's like I described to my brother. I said, it's like he was getting his mojo back pretty much, and like Corey was helping him get there. And you kind of take it as an implication here that maybe through Corey, like maybe they do have some sort of psychic link. And as Corey kills, Michael gets stronger from that. Like again, nothing is concrete as far as this goes. It's just vaguely implied, but it's not ever confirmed. And I think, again, that's the best way to go with Michael. Don't outright confirm stuff, just vaguely imply that certain things are going on. I think that makes it much more interesting. It makes Michael a much more interesting and terrifying villain. So yeah, as the movie goes on, like there's like Allison's working at a hospital, Haddonfield Hospital, and her supervisor, the doctor over her, he's actually banging another nurse, and he ends up promoting this other nurse that he's banging to the head nurse, and like they have a night where they're about to get it on, and then Corey shows up, and Corey kills the doctor, and Michael kills the nurse, and again, they're like working together. So there is some kind of connection between Michael and Corey. And what you see as the film goes on is that Corey is becoming more and more like Michael. And what I really like about this, again, I don't think we should ever know concretely, for sure, confirmed why Michael kills. I don't think we should ever know that. Yeah, in some movies, it's about killing his family. And then there's the whole Cult of Thorn things from Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. Even the original novelization of the original 1978 film did imply that there is some sort of supernatural thing going on. But I don't think we should ever know concretely why Michael kills. And so in this movie, what they do with Corey is he's becoming more like Michael. And they actually have different characters speculating what is going on with Corey. And so as we see Corey become more and more a killer, become more and more like Michael, it's almost like they're trying to explain why Michael is evil. It's almost like they're trying to explain why Michael does what he does, his motivation, what is the evil inside of Michael, but they're doing it through Corey. And that I think was really, really smart because Laurie can even tell, like she looks in Corey's eyes and she's like, Corey has the same evil eyes as Michael. The dad of the little kid that Corey accidentally killed, he was going to forgive Corey because he knew Corey didn't do it on purpose. And he actually ends up meeting Corey one day. And, he looks into Corey's eyes and he knows that Corey, the kid that they knew back then, didn't mean to kill his son, but Corey had changed. Like something had taken him over. His eyes were different. There was something more sinister about him. So it was almost like there was another side to Corey. And it's almost like, okay, so looking at and analyzing why Corey is turning more and more into something like Michael, it makes you wonder, did similar circumstances lead to Michael becoming the monster that he is because of this? Like, was Michael bullied as a little kid? Was Michael an outcast? Was he shunned like Corey was? Did that stuff lead to something triggering in Michael that made him the way he is? And they never confirm one way or the other if this is the case. It's just there to make you wonder and make you speculate. And that's how you do it. That is how it should be done. If you're going to try and go into what makes Michael tick, you can never confirm exactly what that is, but you can put things in there that makes the audience go, huh, I wonder if it's this, or I wonder if it's that. Oh, I can theorize that it's this. And they do that through Corey. Corey is the medium through which the audience is able to do that. That I thought was extremely clever and really made me appreciate the Corey character. It really did. There's also this whole thing, like Corey's in love with Allison. He's obsessed with Allison. And Laurie, as time goes on, Laurie begins to realize that, Corey is becoming more and more like Michael. And so she's like, no, I got to keep my daughter away from this guy. And so, because Laurie is trying to keep Allison away from him, uh, it's kind of brings up this whole theory that people have had for some time, um, that maybe one of the reasons Michael was the way he was because of his sister Judith. Um, one of the theories that has been out there for a very long time, because if you remember from the original 1978 film, um, there was this whole thing with Michael watching Judith, go upstairs to do the hanky panky with their boyfriend, and they were going to do the nasty. And, Michael saw that, and, then he took the knife and he went up to Judith's room, and Judith was up there naked, and Michael started stabbing her and killed her. So some people have theorized that maybe Michael had a desire for Judith. Maybe he, had this lust for his own sister. And that was maybe something that triggered the evil inside of him. And so here we have Corey that seems to have an obsession with Allison. So again, it's kind of playing on that theory. Like you're wondering, okay, so is it the obsession with Allison that turned Corey evil? And as such, are they trying to tell us that, with Corey becoming more like Michael, are they also trying to tell us that the reason Michael became what he is today is because he had this, this sick obsession with Judith, but again, they never confirm it. It's just there to make the audience speculate. And that's how you do it. You never confirm this stuff, not with Michael, because the unknown is always scarier than the known. And again, they explore these things through Corey because he is similar to Michael, but they never confirm any of it. And it's done so well. Another time that we get a theory brought up here is when Laurie confronts Corey, and she doesn't want him around Allison. And, she can tell that Corey is becoming like Michael. And so she's like, she's talking about different kinds of evil. She's like, there's two types of evil in the world. There's the external evil, which attacks the tribe, like the evil out there in the world, which Michael kind of sort of is because he's, going around killing people and stuff. But more importantly, she says the other type of evil is the evil that lives inside of us, the evil that infects us, the evil that grows and spreads like a disease and takes us over and consumes us. And the implication here, and I really like this, is that this evil inside of Michael, and by extension, the evil inside of Corey, is something that is innate in all of us. It's something inside of all of us. And we don't know what triggered it in Michael. We can kind of see what's triggering it in Corey, or if it was always there, because they also speculate, was it always there and something just triggered it? Are you born with this evil or does it develop? They ask these questions, they never answer them, which is exactly what they should do in this particular film franchise. So, Laurie kind of thinks that the evil of Michael is something that is innate to human beings. Like we could all become a Michael Myers, and whatever it was that triggered Michael, that allowed that evil to consume Michael, we don't know. But the scary thing is that it could trigger inside of all of us. We could all become a Michael Myers. As we see Corey starting to become a Michael Myers. Now, the thing is about Corey later on, he confronts Michael, he goes to him, and like Corey wants to become the new Michael. And so he actually, again, Michael is very weak at this point. He's clearly not in the best of shape. You could say he's dying. He's getting older and his health is declining. And Corey goes to Michael and he actually steals Michael's mask. Which, I wasn't exactly a big fan of that because Michael is the shape. Seeing him get beat up by this 21-year-old dude, it was a little bit strange, but it does make sense with the overall message of what they're going for here. So Corey ends up stealing Michael's mask. He goes on this killing spree. He kills the 4 kids that were bullying him earlier. He kills this radio dude that was making fun of him and making fun of the whole Laurie Strode and her situation with Michael Myers. Ends up killing that guy. And there's some pretty brutal kills in this. I mean, like, one of the bullies, like Corey takes this blowtorch, and while the bully is still alive, he like blowtorches this kid's face, and it's fucking brutal. He runs over this one girl, like she's holding onto a chain link fence, and he drives a vehicle through the fence and pins her down under the fence, and then he stomps her head in. He just turns this one chick into a bloody mess. It's absolutely brutal. I mean, it's some of the kills in this, they're gory, but they're not overly so. And I actually think they're more restricted than Halloween Kills, because sometimes I thought Halloween Kills went a little bit too far on the gore. This one I think was a little bit better. Oh, the radio DJ, like he cuts his tongue out and puts it on the record machine, and like it ends up causing the radio station to skip because he's live on air. And like, I mean, it's some of the kills in this I thought were really, really good. There's not a lot of kills, but the kills that we do get really do stand out. So eventually, Corey actually kills his own parents. Like, oh, and there's this one fucked up moment where one of the bullies is trying to shoot Corey. He's got the Michael Myers mask on. Corey's dad is there. And when this kid fires a gun at Corey, Corey's dad stands up and he takes the shot through his head. Like, he sacrificed his own dad. He goes back to his house and he kills his mom. And there's like some incestuous stuff going on with him and his mom, because his mom's like really protective and clingy over him. And she gets mad at him at one point and actually kisses him on the lips, and he backs away. So his mom's like a real creep. Like she's obsessed with like his mom, man. So he ends up killing his mom as well. And then finally he goes and tries to kill Laurie because Laurie is keeping him away from Allison. So he goes to kill Laurie, and they end up in this big fight. And it looks like Laurie's actually going to kill herself, but it's all an act in order to trick Corey. And she ends up fighting Corey, and she's about to kill him, but then Corey's like, nah, bitch, I'm going to kill myself. So Corey stabs himself in the throat. He falls over. Laurie picks up the knife, and right when she does, Allison walks in. So Allison thinks that Laurie killed him. She drives off, and she sees like the radio station that Corey was at earlier where he killed the DJ. It's on fire, and she realizes like, oh shit, like Corey's not misunderstood. Like Corey's gone full blown evil. And then the real Michael shows up looking for his mask. He comes to Laurie's house, and Corey is actually still alive, and Michael's trying to get the mask. Corey's trying to stop him. They fight. Michael kills Corey. He snaps his neck. He's like, nah, like, will the real Michael Myers please stand up? And then there is the final battle between Laurie and Michael. And this was so satisfying. The one thing I wanted out of this film, and I got it in spades, I wanted a final battle between Michael and Laurie. I wanted it to be satisfying. I wanted it to make sense. And I wanted finality to this. I didn't want some ending where it's like, oh, well, he could come back. No, if you're going to call your movie Halloween Ends, you better have finality to it. And damn it, I got it. We got finality to this story, and I was so happy about it. There's not room here for another sequel. Not in this continuity anyways. Now, again, they could go back and reboot it later on, and I'm sure they will in 10 years or so. But as far as like this story stemming from the original 1978 film, this brings an end to it, and I was very, very happy. The fight between Michael and Laurie is brutal. It takes place in Laurie's house. But again, I talked about earlier how Michael is not in the best of shape. He's declining in health. He's going like he's got these breathing issues. He's definitely not as strong as he was before. And that gives Laurie the edge. She's able to actually overcome Michael. She's able to pin him down to the kitchen table. She drops her refrigerator on him. She stabs his hand into the freaking table. He is pinned down. She stabs him in the chest. She stabs him in the neck. Michael is pinned down, and she finally gets that mask off. And she tells Michael, she's like, she grabs a butcher knife, not a butcher knife, a kitchen knife. And she tells Michael, she's like, I always thought you were the boogeyman, but you're not. You're just a man. And that's the thing. Like, it was like, this was very poetic, the way that they ended this film. The whole thing is, again, Michael's declining in health. He's not as strong as before. So the whole thing is here is that Michael really is just a man. So again, they do imply there may be some supernatural stuff between Corey and Michael earlier, maybe some kind of psychic link, but it's never outright confirmed. And they make you think, oh man, is there some supernatural stuff going on here? But it doesn't look like it, because at the end, the message is he's just a man, an evil man, and there's something not right inside of him. There's some kind of evil inside of him. What that is, we don't know. What triggered it, we don't know. What turned him into a killer all those years ago when he was a little 6-year-old boy and he killed his sister, we don't know. But at the end of the day, he's still a man. He's still mortal. And it looks like that Michael is about to take Laurie out with him. He is able to pull his hand out from the knife, grabs Laurie by the throat. He starts to choke her out. And she's saying, do it. Do it. If you're going to do it, fucking do it. We get all of these flashbacks of Michael and Laurie throughout this timeline, going back to the original film even. And, you know, you're kind of thinking Laurie's life is flashing before her eyes right before she dies. Allison comes in, you know, she realizes, you know, when she sees the radio station on fire, she's like, oh shit, Corey really is fucking evil. Like, I need to go back. She calls Officer Hawkins to, you know, originally to tell him what's going on with the radio tower. But he tells her, you know, like Laurie called in a suicide report. And she's like, oh shit, I got to get back to the house. She gets back just in time and she pulls Michael's arm away from Laurie. She's like, I am not going to let this happen to my grandma. Like, this son of a bitch took my mom. I'm not letting him take my grandma. And finally, Laurie slits Michael's throat. They cut Michael's wrist. He is bleeding out on the kitchen table. These police officers, led by Hawkins, come into the house. They see Michael bleeding out on the table. He dies. Michael is dead. Mortal after all. A man after all. The whole idea was extinguishing what is truly the evil of Michael, and that is this idea of him being the boogeyman. They take his body out of the house. They tie his body to the top of Laurie's car. And remember, I said before, you know, ever since Michael disappeared after the events of Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, people have been looking in the shadows for him. Michael's evil, his shadow, the idea that the boogeyman could be lurking around any corner, could be hiding in any shadow, has haunted Haddonfield for so long. They take Michael's body and they drive through the town of Haddonfield so that everybody can see the boogeyman is dead. It's over. They take him to this junkyard, and there's this crusher here, and they take the body of Michael. Everybody witnesses it. Michael has no time to escape. No time. There's no time for any bullshit return. Michael, we see him. We see his body. Everybody watches his body go from Laurie's house to this crusher. Laurie pushes the body in, and Michael Myers is crushed into pieces. It is over. We got a definitive ending, and more than that, a satisfying ending. And at the end of the day, the boogeyman was just a man. And I loved it. I thought that was so poetic. And the way this movie ends, think about how the original 1978 film ended. At the end of the original 1978 film, Loomis shoots Michael. Michael falls over the balcony into the yard. When Loomis goes out to look at the body, Michael's not there. He's disappeared. What happens? The camera shows different shots of Laurie's house. And the idea behind that, what John Carpenter was trying to get through when he did that finale, was that the boogeyman is everywhere. You never know when he's going to pop up. You never know when he's going to come out of the shadows. You never know. That was the idea. In this film, we see Michael's body destroyed. He doesn't disappear. He doesn't get the chance to escape. He is gone. We see it destroyed. There is no opportunity for him to escape. And then the film ends by showing different locations in Laurie's house, just like in 1978. But this time it's not at night. You know for sure Michael is gone. It's during the day. And so it is ending things how the original movie ended it. But this time the boogeyman is no longer there, and Haddonfield no longer has to fear the boogeyman. I loved it. It was so poetic. I love shit like this, bro. It's like George Lucas said about Star Wars. It's like poetry. It rhymes. That's how this was. And I loved it. 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 I loved the way this film ended. And I love this as an ending to this Halloween franchise overall and the story overall. I was like, that is a damn good way to close this baby off. I loved it. All right. I don't know how other people feel about it. I haven't checked out any spoiler reviews or anything like that. I don't know how you guys are going to feel it when you go and watch the movie for yourself. But personally, I love the way this ended. I got a satisfying fight with Laurie. I got a shit ton of speculation about what it is that makes Michael Myers tick via the character of Corey. And then I got a definitive ending. And those elements combined really made me appreciate this film and love it as a finale to this story. And again, at this point, I'd probably put it in my top 5. I mean, it's that damn good. And then, of course, other things that I talked about in the non-spoiler section, the art direction, the lighting, the colorization, the way the characters were written, how the story was more small-scaled and focused on the primary characters of Laurie, of Michael, of Corey, of Allison. All of that I thought was really, really good and worked really, really well for this film. I love Halloween Ends. And I haven't gone back to watch Halloween Kills very much. Just maybe 1 or 2 times. But I can see myself going back and rewatching this a lot. I mean, it's that good. It is that freaking good. It's really, really good, guys. I'm satisfied with this. If this was that last Halloween movie that we got, I'm fine. Like, this was a satisfying end to me. This wrapped it up really, really well. So yeah, I'm very happy about this. And of course they do leave it off. Laurie, she's like writing this whole biography throughout the thing. And now that Michael is dead, she's like, I overcame my boogeyman. And she's talking about, Michael Myers is dead. Michael Myers is gone. Now, evil never dies. It just takes a new shape, which, of course, I like the way that's worded because Michael is referred to in the credits of the original film as the Shape. That's what he's known as alternatively. So, it's this idea that, yeah, Michael is dead. Haddonfield's boogeyman is dead. Laurie's boogeyman is dead. But again, going along with this idea that Laurie had earlier in the film, that the evil inside of Michael is something that exists inside of all of us. It can consume all of us, and anyone could become a Michael, just like Corey was becoming a new Michael Myers. This idea that it's something innate inside of the human heart, inside of human nature, and evil that lives inside of all of us. Laurie says that evil can just take on another shape. Michael is dead. But there could always be a new Michael. Like, somebody else could become a Michael. Somebody else could become a serial killer. There's always that fear. Again, it's this idea that there's evil inside of all of us. That there's this shape of evil inside of all of us. So it does leave it, it doesn't leave the Michael Myers story open at all. Like that, Michael Myers is dead in this continuity. It's over. The story of Michael and Laurie is done. That's finished. That's what I wanted, a definitive ending. But again, this idea that evil lives on, evil will always be here because it's part of the human psyche, it's part of human nature. That's absolutely true. There's always going to be evil in the world. And that evil is innate to human beings. Anyone could become a Michael. So that it's a very poetic way of phrasing the idea of the evil inside of Michael without leaving the opportunity for Michael to come back. At the end of the day, this is the most definitive end to Michael that we have ever gotten. And again, we see the body go from Laurie's house to the crusher. The entire town is watching this body go to the crusher. It goes into the crusher, and Michael's gone. There is no way I can see for him to come back. And, people could say, oh, but he made that psychic link with Corey and stuff. Corey's dead too. So we're not going to get some kind of Halloween 4 ending where it's like, oh, Michael's dead, but the evil lives on inside of Jamie. Like, no. We're not going to get that. Corey's dead. It's over. It's done. And it was satisfying as hell to watch this finale. So, that being said, my final thoughts on Halloween Ends. Was it a satisfying finale to the trilogy of sequels told by David Gordon Green? Yes. Was it a satisfying finale to Michael and Laurie's story that began in the 1978 film? Yes. Did it give me the satisfying final battle and the definitive ending to Michael Myers that I wanted? Yes. And because of that, I can say I love this movie. And damn it, I think it probably gets into my top 5 favorite Halloween films of all time. It is that damn good. So, go see the movie yourself. All right? Go see the movie yourself. I think you're going to love it. All right? I don't know what you're expecting from this finale. Again, looking at non-spoiler reviews, I was surprised how many people were mixed on this film after I came out and saw it for myself, because I was like, wow, really? Like, this is a good movie. Like, what the hell? Definitely better than Halloween Kills. It's on par with Halloween 2018, and honest to God, I may like this film a little bit more than Halloween 2018. But it's really, really good. And it's a great definitive ending to this story. I loved it. Hope you guys will love it. I'm sure I'll be making more Halloween content in the future because this is my favorite horror slasher franchise of all time. All right. I love this franchise. Sure, I'm going to be making more Halloween content in the future as time goes on, as the channel grows and expand. And if you guys want to help the channel grow and expand, you know what to do. Click the subscribe button. Click that bell for notifications. If you're into gaming, I have a gaming channel that's going to be linked down in the description box below. If you want to check that out as well, I would certainly appreciate it for you to subscribe. Click the bell over there as well. Like this video, like this stream. And yeah, if you guys have seen Halloween Kills for yourself, tell me what you thought about it. Do you like it? Do you not like it? I want to know. If you watch this stream after the fact and you see the film later on, again, let me know what you think about it. But that being said, that's going to wrap up this one. Halloween Ends, a satisfying conclusion to the David Gordon Green sequel trilogy of sequels to the original 1978 film. Satisfying end to his sequels, and a satisfying end to the 1978 film and the story that started there, and a satisfying end to Michael and Laurie's conflict. Really enjoyed it. Really loved it. Go out and see it for yourself. All right, folks. With that being said, I'm Jessica James with a Z. Love this movie. So good. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm signing out.